But I'm continuing to talk here with David. We so many things to talk about, and of course it's electricity, it's generation, so carrying on with that. Anything else you're planning, or I mean, you've got more flat roofs?
We are planning, but I'm not sure I could tell you that, or I would have to shoot you, because I've kind of hinted that one of the problems is we now generate far more electricity during the day than we can use, and yet we don't generate any in the middle of the night. So just over my shoulder, with a little bit in the distance, you can see
wrapped up
4 cabinets, and I'll talk to you about them on another day.
Would be sort of Tesla battery sort of technology, would it be?
Well, I couldn't possibly say.
But that's what eventually, I suppose, you make your own, you can store it and then use it when you haven't got it.
But you can do other things as well. If you're able to store electricity, one of the problems for the generators, whether it be us or whether it be the MUA or even bigger generators, is that you're sometimes generating power that you don't really have a market for. How do you store it? It's really difficult. But yet some forms of generation, particularly nuclear power and our own gas turbine plant, I'm sure the MUA would agree, is best run at constant load, which means that at 2 a.m. you're generating power that hasn't really got the same market. So if you can store that power, perhaps you can buy it cheaper and then use it during the day, and that levels the generating curve, which is much better for the technology, much more efficient, and of course, if the tariff at 2 a.m. is half the price of the tariff during the day, you can buy all your electricity overnight and then use it during the day. Great, another win-win-win situation.
You are a visionary. I wish I'd did buy my solar panels so early, but you never buy these things at the right time, can you? Because they're always going to come down in price.
I think early adopters, and you're talking to a man who's for the last 30 years sold technology. The day you buy a computer, it's out of date, and the day if you go the day afterwards, it's half the price as well.
But are we at the tipping point now for people watching this at home, thinking about getting PV on their roofs?
The point I would make strongly, and my own son, who got really excited about what we're doing at work, Philip works in the business, he looked at putting panels on his little bungalow, and it really doesn't work at the same scale, because these boxes we see behind us, these are the inverters that convert the solar power into effectively mains power. And you need one of these. We've got 5 of them, but you need at least one of them for your house. And by the time you've set up a system with only 3 or 4 panels, you're not creating huge amounts of power. But if you have if you're a farmer and you have a big cattle barn, if you're a business like us and you have a big roof real estate and you can put tens of panels up, then it starts to pay for itself, I think. Otherwise, you're doing it for many good reasons, but the economics ones are not quite there yet.
So when are we coming back for your next chit-chat on this?
Maybe about a month.
Oh, really?
Yeah. The cabinets are here.
He's told us anyway. I don't know if I need to come back, really. But anyway, we wish you well, because it's good to see, and I'm very keen on this sort of subject. And by keep doing this, pushing the technology, one day we'll all have very economical electricity.
We can bite slice the elephant, isn't it? We can take some slices off the elephant. Obviously, the low-hanging fruit at the moment is the sort of thing we're doing. There will be some very challenging times when you start having to run ferries and big, heavy construction equipment on other than fossil fuels. You know, it's okay saying we've got to do it by a certain date. The technologies are only just emerging. They are emerging, but those are big, tough questions.
I mean, obviously we've got wind, but wave through the Isle of Man has seen the Holy Grail eventually.
There's been a lot of investment in wave power, and it would strike you looking at it. I'm a sailor. I know what waves do. They throw you around all over the place, no matter how big you are. If you've been on the Ben McCree in one of those Force 9ers, you know that there's a lot of power in those waves, but harnessing it and converting it to power has proved challenging, and there isn't any proven technology. That's the problem. I don't know. I hope so. I think you have to strive for these things. I think tidal power is probably easier to engage, and that's a little bit further along the way. And we have some good tides around the Irish Sea, because the Atlantic keeps trying to get to Liverpool and out twice a day, doesn't it? Yeah.
One day.
Hope so.